The part that still makes my stomach drop is how quiet everything was when the first door handle moved. No warning, just that soft click of metal lifting. That's where the nightmare really began. I'd been driving home after visiting my parents, trying to force myself through the last stretch of a long winter highway. It was around midnight when I finally admitted I was too tired to keep going. My eyes kept drifting, those little head jerks where you snap back too late. I didn't want to risk it, so when I spotted a small rest area sign, I took the exit without thinking twice. It was one of those older rest stops with nothing but a few vending machines, a dim bathroom building, and a row of trucks sleeping with their engines off. A couple of cars were parked way down on the far side. The air was cold enough that the gravel crunched sharply under my tires. I parked close to the trucks because I figured it meant people were nearby. Safety in numbers, that kind of stupid logic you only use when you're half asleep. I locked the doors automatically, pushed my seat back, and told myself I was just closing my eyes for 20 minutes. I must have fallen into a deep sleep instantly, because when I woke up, the air inside the car felt completely different. Heavier. The windshield was fogged, the lot was darker, and the silence had a weight to it that I felt more than heard. My phone said 2:14 a.m. I had been asleep for almost 2 hours. I wiped the fog from the glass with my sleeve and immediately felt something was wrong. The trucks had moved. When I parked, they were lined in a neat row on the right side. Now, 2 of them were behind me, angled in ways that blocked most of my exit path. Another one had pulled in close on the driver's side, close enough that I would have had to squeeze out carefully if I wanted to open the door wide. I tried telling myself truckers shuffle around all the time, but the angles didn't make sense. They weren't parked, they were positioned. As I was staring at that odd layout, trying to piece together how it happened, I heard it. Footsteps on gravel. They were coming from somewhere behind my car. Every muscle in my body locked up. I didn't move. I didn't even breathe. I just sat very still, listening. The steps got closer, crunching softly until they stopped right next to my car. I turned slowly, just enough to see through the rearview mirror. Nothing. The space behind my car was too dark, and the trucks blocked most of the view. But I didn't see a person. That somehow made it worse. I stayed frozen, staring at nothing, when another sound came. This one from the passenger side. Someone walking around my car. I reached for my phone to call 911, but the screen showed no service. I don't know if the valley blocked the signal or if something else was interfering, but the helplessness hit me instantly. Then the first door handle lifted. My heart stopped for a moment. A slow rise of metal. Whoever was out there was calm enough to test the lock, like they already knew I was inside. I didn't turn toward it. I just stared straight ahead, hands shaking, hearing that soft, patient lift of the handle. A few seconds later, the rear handle on the same side lifted. Then another one, then another. Whoever it was, they were working their way around my car. I sank lower into the seat, trying to make myself invisible, even though I knew they could see me if they leaned close enough to the glass. The air in the car felt trapped, thick, like there wasn't enough oxygen. Then the sound changed. A tapping. Knuckles brushing across the trunk. A light scrape against the metal. I twisted to look out the back window, but saw nothing except the outlines of the trucks boxing me in. For a long stretch of seconds, Nothing happened. I remember thinking maybe they'd left. Maybe this was over. But then the footsteps returned, this time approaching the driver's side door. I slid down until my eyes were barely above the steering wheel. My breath felt loud, my heart pounding. The footsteps stopped right beside me. I don't know why, but I kept expecting them to walk past, leave, move on. It was so silent that I started hoping maybe there was no one there. Maybe my ears were playing tricks on me. Then the driver's door handle lifted, harder than before. Not testing, trying. The lock clicked against the pressure. Once, twice, 3 times. Each pull stronger, more confident, like they were certain they'd get in eventually. I wanted to start the engine and drive straight out, even if it meant scraping against the trucks. But I was terrified that the moment the engine roared, they'd smash the glass or yank the door open mid-turn. The handle held for a final long pull, then released. And for maybe 10 seconds, whoever it was just stood there. I could feel it, the presence, the weight of it right outside the door. I kept imagining a face leaning close to the glass, just inches from mine, but I didn't dare look. Finally, I heard slow steps moving away, gravel shifting under their weight, the sound fading behind one of the trucks. And then, an engine started. One of the trucks rumbled awake behind me, then another, then the one to my left. One by one, they backed up and pulled out of the rest area. When the last truck moved far enough that I had a clear path, I didn't hesitate. I turned the key, floored the gas, and shot out of that parking spot. So fast, the car fishtailed on the gravel. I didn't look behind me until I was back on the highway. And even then, I could barely force myself to check the mirrors. I drove for almost 2 hours before pulling into a lit gas station. When I finally stepped out to breathe, I saw it. Dirty fingerprints smeared along the passenger doors, on the back handles, and long streaks on the driver's door. My stomach twisted so hard, I had to sit back down. I haven't stopped at a remote rest area since, and I never will. Thanks for watching No Sleep Tonight. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. It truly helps this channel grow and keep these horrors coming. I'll see you in the next video. And until then, sleep well.